Good evening and welcome back to the Overwatch Pacific Championship English broadcast. I'm AVRL, with me is Smite, and you're back and ready for match 3 of week 5, day number 3. This is how far we've progressed in the tournament. We've already had Sun Sister back-to-back. We've already had Hong Kong Attitude take them out. We've had Fireball beat them in a grueling 5-map series. And it's been a tough day for Sun Sister, but they're all done now. The next match is going to be Fireball versus Flash Wolves. Now let's take a look at Fireball as they get ready to set up for the main stage.
Fireball, oh, what a match. What a match they had to work so hard to beat Sun Sister, and while my heart breaks for them, for Sun Sister that is, Fireball, well, now they have to go up against Flash Wolves, and after struggling to beat the bottom of the table, that's got to be a rough team to go up against after that.
Yeah, I know. If you weren't comfortable against Sun Sister, well, I don't know. I don't know how comfortable you can be now against Flash Wolves, who are such a dominant team. Let's take a look at Flash Wolves as they take the center stage as well. Recently coming off their 3-0 victory against Blank, and it wasn't a comfortable game for Blank. I think Flash Wolves absolutely outplayed them in that series. I think Blank, as good as they looked, Flash Wolves on that particular day in that particular series definitely looked stronger. Flash Wolves bring that again today. This will be insurmountable for Fireball.
It's so hard to say who looks like the top team of the tournament right now. Going off most recent performances, some might say Flash Wolves after a 3-0 against Blank, but regardless, Flash Wolves is someone that we're considering to be the top of the tournament right now. And well, Fireball, like I said before, they struggled against the very bottom of the table against Sun Sister. So coming up against Flash Wolves, they've really got their backs against the wall. How are they meant to mount? How are they going to get anything done against Flash Wolves?
We'll see what Pluto says about that. I don't know if this is going to be... Maybe she'll do the English version for us.
好，那Obito 说呢，我们知道闪电狼比我们强，但是希望呢，闪电狼可以使出全力，不要看轻我们哦。
So Pluto says, we know Flash Wolves are extremely strong, but I hope they don't underestimate us.
我想说的是，不管怎样，不管对上谁，我们一定都是尽全力去打，对，绝对不会放水。谢谢。
And a representative from Flash Wolves says, it doesn't really matter who the competition is, we will always take the game seriously, we will always play with the, I guess respect and play with, you know, the will to win. So that's kind of good. I mean, I want Flash Wolves to be able to come into this and give Fireball the proper Flash Wolves experience. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
not the against Machi Esports experience.
Well, actually, no, because I think Fireball would prefer that. I think Fireball would much prefer the Machi Esports version of Flash Wolves.
I think so, but...
they don't want to see the one that just beat Blank. They want to see the one where Machi beat them, right?
Yeah, but even that said, Fireball still didn't manage to beat Machi in their most recent series. No, that was Hong Kong Attitude. So Fireball haven't played against Machi, but I'm on fire this week, right?
Your memory is so good.
But Fireball have not been looking as good as Machi recently. That is a fact. And well, if Machi only just barely beat Flash Wolves when Flash Wolves were looking at their weakest, Fireball have got to take this as seriously as possible. And even the Flash Wolves that were saying, oh hey, maybe they want to see that team, even that team I think would take it to Fireball.
Let's take a look at the updated standings. If you just joined us as well, Blank still leading the table 10-2 after taking down Machi. AHQ and Flash Wolves after beating Blank each are now sitting at 9-8. And I think for a team like AHQ in particular, who have now beaten both Flash Wolves and Blank, the rest of the competition in this round robin should be pretty easy for them. But before we even get to AHQ, Flash Wolves sitting at 8-3. A win against Fireball would put them at 9-3. Still one loss above AHQ, so not quite on the second position yet, but at least they'll be severely challenging AHQ for at least second place, if not Blank, now for first place.
We can probably expect Flash Wolves, you know, after they win this, or sorry, if they win this, to beat the rest of the teams in their round, right? They've already played against Blank, they've already played against AHQ. This is later on, we're probably going to see AHQ take on Machi Esports, and probably we will.
Yeah.
But if Machi can
maybe,
no,
yeah, it's happening. It is happening.
Yeah. So if
to the
Machi,
best of my knowledge,
if Machi,
unless you run away, please don't run away.
I'm not going to run away.
Okay.
if they do beat AHQ, and Flash Wolves, if they win this game, then they're actually going to be tied for second place.
Yeah. That's definitely the case. And I'm expecting a close game between Machi and AHQ. But I think AHQ, a team that did beat Blank, and Machi, a team that didn't beat Blank, kind of sets the tone for that. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because I know Fireball are not favored to win against Flash Wolves, but what would Fireball really want to get out of this? You know, obviously a couple of map wins, a map win, or just a win in general would be amazing for Fireball, but let's assume that Flash Wolves are just too much for Fireball. What do Fireball want then?
I definitely want to see Fireball take it to, if not a map win, at least take it up to 5 stages on Control, right? Because we've seen Fireball, they have put up good performances on Control before. Against Sun Sister, they actually lost the map. It went to a 5th stage, they ended up losing, and I just know Fireball can do better than that. They absolutely should be able to take it to some of these teams that are in the middle of the pack. If they can take it to a 5th stage at the very least against Flash Wolves, then that shows maybe they're back. Maybe they can compete with the boys at the top. But also, we're going to remember, I believe Fireball are the home team, as correct. So they'll get to pick, and we know that I don't think we're going to see Lijiang Tower for the first time tonight.
You might actually see Ilios, and that's something that maybe you do pick against Flash Wolves, maybe you do throw a curveball, because the curveballs may be exactly what Flash Wolves are least prepared for. I think it's difficult to be in a position where Flash Wolves are unprepared. I think Flash Wolves are just going to be prepared because they're Flash Wolves. At the same time, you know, we've seen Flash Wolves upset before. That was against Machi, and this is against Fireball now. So I don't think Fireball quite stand up in that regard. But if Fireball want the best chance of winning, I think going something a little bit off kilter might just be what they need.
Yeah, and we've seen them throw that sort of thing at Blank as well. In their series, Fireball threw Nepal at Blank. But when we look at that series, well, Blank just 3-0'd them on Nepal. And even though it was Fireball's pick, and we thought, oh, hey, this curveball might be exactly what they needed to at least take it the distance, it's not what happened. Blank just shut them down.
And let's take a look at the teams now head-to-head as well. It will be Fireball on the home position. Flash Wolves, challengers as the away team. And of course, Apuda, Inzidina, Zelfix, Curlis, Rocket in 9th. The usual suspects from Fireball.
And then Flash Wolves as well. You've got Zondo, who we talk so much about, but almost equally as much Bacon Jack as well, the 2 DPS players, Zhongyi, K-Momo, and then of course...
I'll wait.
You'll wait?
You'll
Round it
get
out
there.
for me,
You'll get there.
Round
You'll
it out
get
for
there.
me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sinclair and Real Mint. There you go.
you
Where
go.
would you be without me?
My resident Overwatch expert here on the couch with me. Thank you, Kevin Avalwalker, keeping me afloat here.
And Zelfix, the now pretty much permanent Lucio player for Fireball. He's got Winston on there, but like we said, we haven't seen a Winston out of him. In fact, if you see anything else out of him, it's probably going to be on the Reinhardt. But even then, Rocket's now comfortably picked up both Winston and Reinhardt. Haven't seen a hog out of him in quite some time.
What have they got planned?
They're probably still laughing about that last interview. Inzidina, the Tracer player, he also plays Soldier. It's not listed there. He also plays the Fire. I haven't seen him on the Xayah in quite some time because that gets picked up by 9th. Who's now the Xayah player and Flex DPS, and also, I guess, the Diva as well. He's been doing a fairly decent job on Diva. I think he's one of the unsung heroes of the Fireball lineup.
I think he does a decent job on all the heroes he plays. He's no standard. Oh my god.
There we go.
Hello, Apudo.
Power of friendship.
On Kurlos's screen.
Power of friendship. That's
Kurlos has had enough of this.
get back.
Like, come on.
back in
I
this seat.
said it before. This is just the DPS player trying to steal the glory. With the poor support, trying to do his job, trying to get his moment in the spotlight, but Apudo's got to be there. Got to be there with a big smile on his face.
Last but not least, Pudo, the man. He's not even a myth. He's just straight up legend now. He's the Dapper Dabber.
He looked pretty serious up on the stage though, talking to the host.
I think he was very relieved that they won the match against Sun Sister because it was that close. Now let's get into Flash Wolves. Zhongyi, who was a force to be reckoned with against Blank, as Winston was something out of this world, and I think Easy said himself, man of the match against Blank, as good as Zondo was. I think Zhongyi played a massive role. Now K-Momo as well has been picking up the Soldier recently, but we know him better as the Flex Xayah and also the Diva player. Bacon Jack, one of the best Tracers in the OPC, if not the best. Zonda would definitely tell you he's the best.
I'd almost agree with them, right? I mean, the only one who even really comes close, in my opinion, is going to be Eat Up, but I'd say Bacon Jack definitely proved that he was at least slightly better in the series against Blank. Then, of course, you've got Sinclair, definitely a very important member of the team, and Zonda.
Not important enough for you to remember?
Yeah, well, okay, look.
Okay.
That's
Memes
I
aside.
was kind of poking fun at myself.
Memes
with that,
aside.
but now we've had no time to talk about him because
Serious
it's
man
Zonda's
right
turn.
here. Serious man on your screen. Ex-professional League of Legends playing for Taipei Assassins, and now big boys on Flash Wolves. Real Mint as well. Lucio player for Flash Wolves, but I did check out the Flash Wolves interview yesterday after we all wrapped up, and look, Zonda, a couple of insights on their team. So first of all, Zonda was the main shot caller. Now he says he's kind of passed on the shot calling role a little bit more onto Sinkle and Real Mint, the two supports. In his own words, I think he kind of mentioned that Zonda as a shot caller, it puts pressure on himself because he would like to just frag. He would like to be the one who doesn't have to worry about thinking about the strategy. He just wants to point his gun, point it and left click on guys' heads, right? As a shot caller as well, there was a lot of pressure in terms of the pressure that he was putting onto other teammates, because he says that he's a guy that really wants to win. I can see it out of him. Super competitive guy. He's a real winner, but at the cost of, I think, some of his other teammates are quite intimidated by him, and I can see that as well. I can definitely, he has this very imposing type of personality, and it does come off a bit like that, and there is certainly a regard of, if Zonda calls and he's frustrated, it does put the team down. So I think Zonda moving the main caller role onto the supports, or at least having them take over, is a step in the right direction for the team.
I think it's a fantastic way to, shift some of the pressure off him as well. Just let him do his job, like you said. Just point your gun at enemies and left click their heads, right? Now, with Fireball's pick, we're going to be seeing
A boom
Ilios.
town.
Yep.
See that hole in the ground? That's where the fireball comes out. Just,
Now, at least, unlike Sanctum, I can kind of understand that bottomless pit. Like, it's a well.
no, that is not a bottom. Wells are not bottomless. Wells have a bottom.
I think, well, okay,
Where
so
the
it's
water
not a bottomless pit, but it's deep enough that if you fall down, you die, even though there's no fall
I don't know.
damage.
There's usually water at the bottom of a well, so you kind of just sink you kind of just float, and then eventually
but-
you can't get out, and you're done.
It's a video game, so no one can swim. That's the laws of physics in video game worlds,
That
unless
people
swimming is
can't swim.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if swimming isn't a mechanic,
Let's
in the
get to
game,
something
then
else.
You can't
Something
swim.
else I noticed in the interview was also he mentioned they wanted Bacon Jack to call more, but they noticed the more that Bacon Jack called, the worse his individual performance sort of was affected. And I think that kind of comes down to it as well. As a DPS player, the more he's thinking about what he needs to call, the less he's focusing on his actual mechanical abilities. So they said, okay, we'll get Bacon Jack to call less, to the point where Bacon Jack kind of doesn't communicate that much anymore based on what Zonda said. And Bacon Jack's performance has gone through the roof.
Yeah, and it's really shown, right? I mean, I definitely agree. Just shoving all of the strategy responsibility onto the supports, maybe even onto the tanks. Just let the DPS do their job, tunnel vision onto the guys, get the frags, and then maybe you call out, say like, oh look, I can pulse bomb this guy, or I've got tactical visor. Do you have your nano boost ready to go? Like, that's all the kind of strategy talk that you really need.
Look at that. You don't even need to play the rest of the game. You got your handshake already. That's what everyone wants.
that
Everyone
everyone-
wants to play for the handshake.
No hug though.
Yeah, you don't get. You'll give Sun Sister a hug, but you won't give Flash Wolves a hug.
That's how serious
I
they
don't know
are.
about that. I don't know about that. I think Fireball are here to win. I think Fireball are here to play for reals.
They
For
need
keeps.
to be.
They're here to play for keeps.
Keeps these.
Absolutely.
Well, it's gonna be a hard one, and I think I said this. I actually said this against Sun Sister, saying that I think Control was one of Fireball's stronger maps, and that was actually the map that they lost against Sun Sister. One of the two maps. So
Yeah, and I think it was down to their own mistakes, because they should have won. They looked far better to start with, and then they just kind of let it go. Now onto Ilios, this is their pick. Not only in terms of, you said it yourself, Control being one of the stronger game modes for Fireball, but also now the map that they've always wanted to play on. They laud this map as their map, the Fireball Control map.
they want to make it their own, and they're gonna have to make a big splash here. But you can already see Flash Wolves with the pharmacy
Without
combo.
swimming.
They've got without swimming, because you're not allowed to in Overwatch. But they've already got control of the sky, control of the high ground. Fireball, they're going to have to go in with these awkward positions inside these buildings while bombardment comes down from Zonda.
Oh, and Zonda gets taken down. The Fly Swatter Apudo is going to get a little bit of revenge for his teammates, and so far the frags go fairly even. But I think eventually Flash Wolves should be able to overpower Fireball, and that does seem to be the case currently. And a big factor is Bacon Jack. Of course, you see his name come up on the kill feed so often. Yeah, you got Zonda, but you forgot about Bacon Jack. In fact, Bacon Jack did so well, he's got a pulse bomb.
I mean, he got his pulse bomb straight off the back of that fight, while NZNR has just barely passed halfway through towards his own one. So Bacon Jack can simply set his team up for a very easy team fight win here. Place one pulse bomb, there you go. Then you just essentially buy yourself at least another 20% on the point.
20% at a time. Pretty soon that'll add up to 100. A quick kill on Zonda to start things off. Opportunity time for Fireball, but can they make it happen? Because like I said, Bacon Jack, he's been such a huge force. He's just dodging shots.
Big res.
Cleans up Kurlos as well. Yes, that's correct. The res did come out. And Flash Wolves, it just seems like cleanup all over again. They got the mop out and they sweep Fireball away.
It looked a little bit dicey for Flash Wolves, but that's Fireball not respecting the fact that the fights are just going so much in their favor. The first time that Sinclair was able to get so close to his ultimate and then actually get it up during that second fight. Now Fireball, to their credit, they haven't used any ultimates, but Apudo, he's only just swapped, so he's going to be working to, oh my god, he swaps again, and so now he's going to be on the McCree. This is going to be good for taking
I'm getting
Zonda
some
out of the
PTSD
sky.
right now, and I'm not liking it.
Well,
Multiple swaps. Can't decide what you want to play. I'll tell you what, Apudo though, the guy's got some good aim, so he wants to take down Zonda, but like I said, I don't even know if Zonda's the main problem. There's going to be the rocket barrage directly into the defensive matrix. Sinclair will use the res just to save his teammate there. Keep the players alive. 6v3, I believe, as Apudo goes down to Bacon Jack, who I was going to mention as potentially the real threat of Flash Wolves. You're so focused on Zonda, you forget about him.
yeah, I mean, that's another reason, another good reason to pick up Apudo onto that McCree, but Flash Wolves still so in control. There's another pulse bomb. Why would Flash Wolves ever be able to give up the point right now? It's gone into overtime. Fireball are sprinting for the point, but in my eyes, this is a 99-0. Flash Wolves total control.
That was fairly one-sided. I don't believe Bacon Jack died at even once there. Wham bam, Bacon Jack surprise. Overtime ticks down. No one can even contest. Fireball did not even touch the point. Now Apudo had a good start on the Genji. He managed to snipe down Apudo, but after that he found it very difficult to catch either Zonda. He got a quick snipe on himself.
Yeah,
really, I mean, it felt like it because it felt like Fireball kind of just sniped themselves all over the entire game. Now he killed Zonda, didn't really touch Bacon Jack, went on to McCree, didn't see it long enough to, I guess, find out the results of that pick. And
so
I guess we'll find out in Ruins.
Yeah, while McCree can shut down a Tracer, a good Tracer can bait out those flashbangs, but it's going to be a pretty different story here on the Ruins.
Hashtag Wolnelly is, we've got two Widowmakers. I don't know, Widowmaker's almost becoming this insta-lock pick that I don't necessarily agree with, but you know, Widow versus Widow matchup is always be interesting to watch, and I don't think I've seen Zonda's Widow yet, or at least I haven't seen much of it. In fact, I haven't seen Apudo's Widow either.
Look at the difference.
He knows exactly who he wants to go for.
Look at the difference though, AVRL. One team has a Tracer, the other team has a Genji. One of those heroes can actually climb up the walls to contest the enemy Widowmaker.
Zonda's not even interested in Apudo. Zonda's interested in just about everyone else. And he gets Apudo anyway, it doesn't matter. He says, well, if you're going to keep annoying me, I will eventually find you, take you down. And the rest of your team, I was going to say family, but that's a bit too, that's a really...
Oh, Five will feel like a bit of a family.
I do. So yeah, there you go then. Zonda's, he's a wrecker of families. He's
home wrecker.
He's absolutely a home wrecker. As you can see by all these buildings, his home has been wrecked.
If Fireball, oh no, there's a bit of a contest there, but honestly, they do actually get him down. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake there. Just walking into it, really. I mean, Flash Wolves, they've got so much dive potential on top of the Widowmaker, right? Fireball are sticking onto it. Never mind, there goes the swap. That's what I was waiting for. Either bring a Genji in off the Tracer, or just take away the Widowmaker.
Yeah, they need it. And the difference between the two Widows as well, Apudo was very specifically targeting Zonda. Zonda was not interested in Apudo until right at the end. Zonda killed just about everyone else. What a stick! Bacon Jack is definitely a player.
Bacon Jack.
We weren't sure if he was a player. He's a player of Overwatch.
Got some pretty tasty play today, but I mean,
Enjoy some Overwatch in
with
this
that
game.
stick right at the start of the fight, really in Flash Wolves' favor. Some of these trades are coming back, and they do actually take down Zonda, but at what cost?
Hey, Momo went huge there as well. Now, something that was interesting that was brought up a little later was that the reason they're putting K-Momo on Genji now is they've realized, look, in terms of Soldier 76, Zonda is just a better soldier. That's hands down. I think everyone can agree with that. Now, K-Momo is really coming into his own as a Genji player himself. So as far as Zonda no longer really wanting to pick up the Genji for himself, K-Momo is doing a great job on that.
Fireball have snuck the point as well, and in fact, going in with their ultimates, they've got the Dragon Blade. Is it going to clean up enough? It gets a Widowmaker. Is Zonda really enough for you to win the fight here? I mean, yes, they're still holding on to the point, but trades are coming back. Yeah, Fireball capped even before that fight begun. The Flash Wolves have come back in. They're getting the frags, and what are they committing here? The Primal Rage should be enough to go in, get the kills here. Kill after kill after kill. Flash Wolves are going to take the point.
Flash Wolves didn't have to work too hard for that one. Even losing a cap, I mean, must feel like a shock to Flash Wolves at this point. They are able to securely sit themselves right on top of this cap. I think they could even choose to get aggressive here if they want to. They're behind in ultimates, but expect a big pulse bomb to come out of Bacon Jack at some point. Just want to just hunt down a couple members. Maybe he should go for a bit of health. He might actually end up dying here if he's not too careful.
There's a health pack here. He gets it. He's going to be fine. In fact, actually just brought a lot of attention out of the enemy Winston as well. So Fireball, they're going to come back in. They've already used Primal Rage. They don't have much to stall, but they've still got the point as well. And they've actually dived onto the squishies, taken them out, and wow, they're actually getting the kills here. Rocket punching, lightning bolting, shocking everyone he can, and they're holding on to the point. Bacon Jack with the pulse bomb, but what was that even going to accomplish? I feel like that one was just kind of thrown out.
Pulse bomb tried to get a kill on a tank, but you are kind of right. Even if he got the kill on the tank, it wasn't going to be a retake for Flash Wolves. Almost think eventually Zonda might have to switch off the Widow. It's starting to work out less and less well for them. You haven't seen Widow come up on the kill feed all that often anymore, and it does seem like the case that Fireball are able to find more and more counter picks, and the progress is starting to even up a little bit, but I don't think Fireball are in a position where they're guaranteed the win just yet.
Oh, both defensive ultimates chained together to keep Fireball alive, and because of that, they are picking up some of these kills. Bacon Jack struggling to find some of the kills and does end up getting taken down. A good trade for Fireball, but Flash Wolves have brought out a lot of ultimates, but they've only got one more push to go with the point reaching just under 90%.
Yeah, there it is. It's serious time for Zonda. He's here to win games now. Going on to the Soldier. The guy's a fantastic Soldier player, and hopefully he'll be able to show that just now as well. But Fireball have gotten themselves in a decent position, 99 to 99. This could be the contest they've been waiting for.
Okay, Momo's already found a kill with his Dragon Blade, but it's the top 10 anime battles here as both the Dragon Blades are coming out. Apudo, though, is dropping incredibly low and has only found one kill, but it is onto Zonda. It's a DBS play. Can he get back up? No way!
Johnny, hello!
They both go down. It was totally worth it, but now Bacon Jack, he finds a pulse bomb, but it really just turns into a self-destruct, probably makes the explosion bigger. It's overtime is still going on, and Bacon Jack is alive.
Super explosion.
And it's a super explosion, and Bacon Jack keeping his team in this one. We've always said it before, if Bacon Jack's alive, he can bring it back for the Flash Wolves. He's dueling right now and actually winning. And wow, Flash Wolves, they've come back. No defensive ultimates available for Flashbang, for Fireball. Firewolves, Flash Wolves should be taking this point back.
Flashball are going to get this one, though. Which team is Flashball? Well, I'll let you decide on that one. So yeah, I think the eventual change-up from Fireball was really good. I wasn't a big fan of the Widow contest. I think Apudo, he wanted to give it a go, but straight after the first death, I think did he come back as Widow for a bit? He may have. Either case, changing onto the Genji, absolutely swung things around for Fireball. And unlike what was mentioned in the pre-match interview, I don't think Flash Wolves really respected the change. Zonda decided to stay onto Widow, probably for a little bit too long for my liking personally, and then eventually towards the end jumped onto the Soldier in what was a very tight struggle that could have very realistically gone into Fireball's favor.
It did come close, but hey, it's Flash Wolves that did end up coming back, and I feel like a lot of that was just they pushed us to buy out the defensive ultimates from Fireball, but Apudo...
It's the flashbang against the Flash Wolves with the Fireball and the Fire Wolves.
Oh, well, finally we'll see Apudo, which this is where I really saw his debut, where he just came out fantastically way back in the summer series. So look to see how well he does. He should be looking to shut down Bacon Jack as well. He can't have his eye on the skies and the ground at the same time though, because Flash Wolves...
Jongy, hello.
Flash Wolves have been just jumping all over Fireball, rockets raining down from above. Zonda does need to be stopped. Fireball, they don't have the dive to just steamroll over the forces on the ground for Flash Wolves, so you either need to take the pharmacy out of the sky, or maybe change something up.
So you want to take down Zonda, but first you got to get past Jongy. We've already mentioned a couple of words about him, but as a currently as a Winston player, and I guess he's also right, but as mainly a Winston player now, Jongy's been absolutely excellent. You see the way he jumps on a foot, you see the way he denies the DPSs on the other team, giving Bacon Jack, particularly Zonda, a lot of space to work with. Flashbang coming into effect, but I don't think that's going to do enough yet.
Fireball actually got the kill at the start of that. They took down Zonda, they had the 6v5 advantage, but Flash Wolves they just positioned carefully, and as soon as they saw their opportunity, they just dived straight in, got the better trades. Jongy, he's dropping low, there's no health pack in here for him to get, but there's no enemies to take him down. In fact, he's going to be fine. Flash Wolves, they've even got to resurrect if things start getting a little bit too hairy. Fireball, they're struggling to capture the point here. Apudo's finding kills off in the background, but Jongy, this fantastic Winston player, is going to jump out of there. He does manage to survive. Fireball getting closer to the cap on the point, and reinforcements have started to arrive.
And like we said, you know, even if Zonda goes down, just like Dizzy and AHQ, the rest of his team are absolutely there to back him up. Here comes Jongy with said backup, eventually gets killed there. Down barrier for Fireball, going to keep them in this fight for the time being, but they need a couple of more kills if they want to actually be able to get into the Resurrect, as you called as well. Going to take the fight back to even, and wow, Bacon Jack, he's unstoppable right now.
Bacon Jack is going absolutely crazy here, and this fight has gone on for the longest time. But what's this? Fireball are actually coming back, picking up 2 kills so far, even with the res. Jongy jumping back up for dear life, punching that fence in anger at the thought of falling off, but he comes back. He doesn't have a shield up just yet, still needs it to stay alive. But Flash Wolves, to the rest of his team, specifically Bacon Jack, have arrived once more. They are going to hold on to the point, and it's looking at 85%. Fireball have got one more shot.
If you've ever wondered what the cavalry's here really means when Tracer says it, well, when Bacon Jack plays Tracer, he's the entire cavalry, because he's really bringing it. Now comes Zonda bringing the pain with Genji as well. It's becoming a bit of a rare pick now for Zonda. It doesn't even matter. Flash Wolves, another fairly comfortable win. I'll take it out. That's a quick 3-0. And you said earlier, look, maybe for Fireball they need a good opening on Control. They need to go to a 5-stage series. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case.
Well,
Let's take a look at the play of the game now from Zonda as well. That actually looked like Bacon Jack got the majority of the kills, but I respect Zonda probably got the opening damage, which then Bacon Jack capitalized on. But either way, I mean, team effort.
So Flash Wolves pretty much in control of that map the entire way through. The only time where it looked like they were slipping a little bit was on Ruins, where Fireball recognized, okay, look, this Widowmaker thing, it's not working out. Zonda's clearly better than Apudo on Widowmaker, so let's swap Apudo onto Genji and actually start contesting it. And then after that, we didn't see Zonda on the kill feed at all, and Fireball started winning fights. It was only when Flash Wolves started recognizing that they could come back and just go for just value pushes, get those ultimates out of the way for Fireball, and then come back in with a big push of their own. So even then, they still felt like they were in command of the most of that game, just not all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and that comes more down to Flash Wolves, I guess, not playing with the utmost consideration of what Fireball were going to bring in mind. They were thinking, no, we still got this. We can keep the Widow on. We still got this. And when they didn't got this, then they went for the change. I mean, that's when Zonda decided, hey, look, actually this isn't working. Time to go Soldier. Can't go Genji. Not that he really plays Genji as much as K-Momo does anymore, but obviously not going to go onto the Tracer because that's Bacon Jack's pick. So what do you got left? You got Mei, no, I'm not even going to go there.
Got Hanzo.
So yeah, very smartly, so Soldier comes into play. And actually Zonda got killed out pretty quickly even when he did change to Soldier. So for Fireball, by getting to the 99-99 overtime, they were very much within the possibility of taking it fully out because they got the early frags, but The one thing they failed to contest, the one thing they did well was shutting down Zonda. The one thing they failed miserably at was shutting down Bacon Jack.
And you can see they even tried to do it on some of the maps, putting Aputo on McCree. Flashbang's a great tool for dealing with Bacon Jack, but fantastic tracers don't fall into that trap so easily. You can easily bait that out, blink in, blink out. There's so many ways for Tracer to just
You know how to deal with a Tracer?
How do you deal with
You
it?
pick
Kev?
May and you right-click it.
Apparently.
Apparently that
Apparently.
works. It works for Sun Sister, right? I mean, Inzit and I just couldn't take a break.
Can you imagine if Sun Sister would beat Flash Wolves because of that? Like, oh, Bacon Jack, massive
Yeah,
problem.
I don't think Flash Wolves would really. One thing like that, it'd be annoying, but the problem is Flash Wolves are they're not a team that is highly dependent on one player. Like we saw, you can kill Zonda, but the other 5 guys are still there and they're still there to win. You got Jongy, who's always in your face. You got Bacon Jack, who's nigh unkillable and his damage output is insane. And you know, both their supports are absolutely doing their jobs as well. It's kind of like when you're playing against teams like Blank, Flash Wolves and AHQ, getting the individual picks don't necessarily give you the wins, unless you're Flash Wolves and you kill Eat Up straight away. That's a big advantage because that's Bacon Jack's biggest competition out of the way. But even if you're a team like Fireball and let's say you do kill Bacon Jack or Zonda or I Eat You Up or ATAR straight off the bat, you need to convert that onto further kills. And I just don't think I just don't think Flash Wolves will fall over that quickly.
We even saw it happen in Lighthouse as well. They got a kill on Zonda right at the start. That's a 6v5, and Fireball, not a team to capitalize on that against Flash Wolves. They didn't fall apart.
It's very difficult. I think it is very difficult as well because Bacon Jack is so incredibly difficult, and Aputo got traded back again very quickly on the McCree because Jongy was right there. Jongy picked up 2 kills straight away after Zonda got shut down, if we're thinking about the same situation. So we're not even talking about fully DPSs here, even just talking about the tanks. Jongy's impact as a Winston is so far higher than what Rocket has offered.
Well, Flash Wolves, they've picked King's Row, and while I'm pretty excited to see the map again, it's also
Are you?
Oh, I love King's Row.
Oh.
But this is a good reason. Like, you know, it's great that Flash Wolves picked this up. They know Fireball, not the most fantastic. In fact, they actually dropped this map specifically to Sun Sister. So, Flash Wolves. I mean,
Flash Wolves beat Blank on this map, so.
Flash Wolves full held Blank on this one, didn't they? Was it full hold? Pretty sure it was.
It might have been. It was either that or it was the AHQ game. Either way, this has been. Yeah, it was. Blank. Yep. Flash Wolves absolutely beat Blank. I don't know. I can't remember if it was full hold. I think you could be correct though.
I'm pretty sure it was a full hold, which if you're Fireball, you don't want to hear right now. You don't want to say like, oh, they picked King's Row. What do you guys think we've got against these guys? Oh well, they full held Blank on King's Row, and you're like, oh no, that's really bad. How are we going to compete against that? I mean, clearly, professional teams are going to be sitting there thinking about how to win. And even if it's intimidating or not, we saw when Fireball, they were down 2-0 against Sun Sister. Even though it's Sun Sister and you should be shrugging them off, Fireball didn't let it get to them. They said in the interview, they said, look, we can't let that happen to us. We can't feel bad about those 2 losses. We've just got to go in with the same mindset we do with every game, and that's to win. So even though you're going into Flash Wolves pick on King's Row that they demolished Blank on, and that you lost to Sun Sister on, you still have to go in the same mindset to win.
Which is essentially Zonda's life manifesto, I think. Almost may also translate over to Flash Wolves' success overall. So far in the tournament, a little bit of a hiccup last week, but currently they do look unstoppable. They do look like the fearsome Flash Wolves unit that we saw in week number 1. And look, you said for control, maybe Fireball need to take it to 5 stages to look good. How do Fireball look good in this? Maybe they need to go all the way to time back.
Well, if they can even get past the first point, then they'll look better than Blank, and that's a good start. So,
well, that's.
Sorry, Blank.
I mean, I guess that's. You're not even wrong though. That's not inaccurate whatsoever.
No, well, here's the thing, right? When Flash Wolves defend, Zonda, he's going to be sitting up in that window, and he is going to be
He's playing
demanding
Genji.
attention. Wow, okay, never mind. He's
You're
not going to be... Okay, I went from being right to just.
It's like,
Caster's curse.
I will check the composition first before I comment. No, but they are going to play some form of counter dive, and it's a very aggressive way to play. This is going to be Fireball attempting to wrap around on top of around the Big Ben, around the clock tower, but they're being now kind of pincered, and I don't think they can commit to this wraparound anymore. They will fall back just slightly. Maybe they can get a pick out on Jongi if they're lucky. Jongi does escape. He's not exactly the easiest Winston to kill.
No, I mean, losing another one straight at the start, but Bacon Jack was the one that pounced right on top of Kurlos, taking him out of the fight. And then Fireball, like you said, they were in an awkward position, kind of pinned in that building. They did manage to get out, but they did lose one person, which, again, it just buys more time for Flash Wolves, but also builds up their ults. They're running a Zarya for K-Momo, which means no Diva. So, ninth, he should be able to get a lot more value out of that soldier. No tactical visors will be shut down as much, but it does bring a big combo potential. But hey, Fireball, they're going in. They've got to pick. This is the
Wow,
time.
Bacon Jack, rare mistake from him. He got greedy. He wanted to take down the kill onto Ninth. Couldn't find him towards end. Missed the melee. Will pay for it with his life. And now Fireball, they've noticed it's their moment. It's their time. And they will get themselves onto the cap with the wounded Flash Wolves force trying to back out of this. But I do believe Flash Wolves will come in to contest if they can. They won't have time. You're absolutely right. There is no... Well, do they have time? Because Bacon Jack is going to try and make it happen. It's kind of a low-risk attempt to recap, because all you've done is use the Nano, which you can charge back again, and you haven't committed other ults. It's kind of just testing the waters a little bit. I like the forward positioning from Fireball.
There was
If Flash Wolves are smart, they won't give away any more kills.
There was a pretty crazy knee-jerk reaction as well from Kurlos. He threw out the Transcendence when really it was just...
So that was worth it then. That was absolutely worth it.
The Flash Wolves, yeah, they definitely got a lot out of it, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot if they can't contest this forward push by Fireball.
This is too much. Fireball got to get up.
Bacon Jack,
This is
up the
way
kill.
too much.
This is enough.
Enough for who? This is far. Enough was the point. The point of no more return on enough was long gone for Fireball, and even now I'm not too sure this is the correct move, because it's more... Oh, well, for Jongi it's fine, but for Rocket, it's more ultimates being committed by Fireball for what I would say is kind of limited cart distance, and I'm surprised Fireball not jumping on the cart just yet.
Well, that
Flash
said,
Wolves are not jumping on the
Flash
cart.
Wolves need to jump onto this card. I mean, they won that fight. Surely they should have been
Flash
contesting,
Ball.
but Flashball, Fireball, whoever, they're pushing this payload up, and they've got enough ultimates to go. Apudo with a big Dragon Blade should be able to find some kills, but it's also going to be on NZNR. Finding that Pulse Bomb, doesn't find anyone. This sound barrier is there to keep them alive. They're still holding onto the Tactical Visor and the Dragon Blade, but Apudo's dropping low. He can't afford to use the blade now. He has to hold on to it. They're healing him up for dear life right now, but Flash Wolves, they're striking back, and they've held the payload.
And they're really pushing Apudo back was important as well, because he had the big comeback ultimate that Fireball would have really required. And now with full health, it's Apudo's time, and Transcendence as well. Again, fairly knee-jerky by Kurlos. Not too sure if that was the correct move just yet. Apudo couldn't find any kills, will fall over to K-Momo, and suddenly Fireball still look like they're running out of options.
Even picking up just a little extra kill there with the self-destruct. They're just going to push forward again, actually trying to get those delayed kills just to get that stagger out. But Fireball, they've got to regroup. They've got to start building up those ultimates again. NZNR could find value with the Pulse Bomb. That could set them up for a kill, but look at what Flash Wolves have to work with. They've still got Transcendence, which should allow them to survive during a fight. But picking off Zonda, that's pretty big. NZNR finds that kill.
And Zonda seems to be the one that, if Fireball can kill anyone, it will usually be him. But as long as Bacon Jack can stay alive, this should be still a reasonable defendable position for Flash Wolves to maintain. And Zonda, as a soldier, he can sprint back to the card, which is exactly what he'll be doing here. You have a defensive ult there in Transcendence as well. So for Flash Wolves to actually have the defensive broken through, it takes a lot. It will take a lot more than what Fireball have provided and have used so far.
Fireball are playing Metal Gear Solid once more, putting NZNR into the back lines. He's just going to be looking for that one Pulse Bomb onto a key member, especially someone that has their ultimate up. If you can find Zonda, that's fantastic. But Fireball, they're just sitting a little bit around this corner. They don't have any high ground, but ends it in he finds Bacon Jack of all people,
very
and this
good
is
start.
Fireball to go in, and a Pulse Bomb picks up another kill. Tactical Visor, but it's going to be countered out by that Transcendence, but that only lasts a certain amount of time.
So much tranquility.
And Fireball have their own super tranquility, and Fireball, they're pushing in. They have lost Oputo. Is the contest going to still be there because Fireball are still picking up kills? But Flash Wolves, they're not done yet because Bacon Jack's returned to the fight. Doesn't matter if you killed me at the start because I'm here, I've returned, and Flash Wolves, I think they're going to push them back.
Flash Wolves come back in a really big way. Started with the Primal Rage from Jongi as well. And as you said, Bacon Jack, the return of the key Tracer play, the big carry for the team. I know Zonda is meant to be the big carry, but realistically, Zonda's been dying fairly early in these fights. But like we've said earlier as well, even with Zonda dying, it hasn't given Fireball the opening that they need. The biggest opening, in fact, Fireball have had is killing Bacon Jack first. When they got Bacon Jack, that's when they converted into further kills, and that's been their best push so far, and still, that has not been enough. And apologies for the technical issues.
Well, Fireball about to apologize for this team fight that they're coming up against. They need to win here because Dragon Blade needs to go big. Sound Barrier has come out to keep the Flash Wolves alive, but Realmint won't be so lucky. Neither will Sinclair, as Oputo on 3 HP gets out alive as well. The Pulse Bomb comes out. Bacon Jack will finish off Rocket as well. That's the Winston down out of the fight, but Fireball with their numbers, they're pushing the payload. It's moving slowly forward, and it might get to this checkpoint. In fact, I believe it will, as Fireball have taken out almost all of the Flash Wolves, pushed them back into the third checkpoint. But 1.5 minutes to go, AVRL.
And nearly into overtime as well. In fact, I believe this to possibly go into another overtime with less than 1:30 now to go. Fireball with only Transcendence now, Attack Visor online. They need a lot. For every kill that Flash Wolves can get against Fireball, Fireball need 2 in return for Fireball to actually win this.
Fireball do have defensive ultimates to keep them up in the push. Ninth is reasonably unprotected here. Bacon Jack finds NZNR, which should be the moment for Flash Wolves to pounce, and this is going to be Fireball on the retreat. How far back will Flash Wolves push them? They can't risk losing anyone, so they're just going to take their 1 kill. 2 kills,
well,
actually.
Like I said, somehow they managed to usually get Zonda, so while I don't believe they'll be able to necessarily get anything done with this just yet, Zonda already respawned. Here comes Transcendence now from Sinclair. This is a good bait up from Fireball, and Fireball going to commit their own super tranquility, like you said earlier. Now the huge engaged ultimates from both sides. 2 deaths for Flash Wolves so far. Bacon Jack's still alive. As long as Bacon Jack is alive, the hopes and dreams for Flash Wolves will remain alive as well. And as you can see, Fireball struggling to get this cart moving again. They are still picking up kills, get a mech, they get Jongi as well, but they're not getting Bacon Jack, and Zonda infinitely respawning. The rest of Flash Wolves infinitely respawning with him.
But they can't stop their push anymore. Fireball, they've only got 10 seconds to go. They need to continue on, and that's exactly what Rocket's going to do, jumping straight onto the payload. Again, they find Zonda, they take him out, but Bacon Jack is still alive, finding kills on the tanks. He's got a pulse bomb, he gets a stick. No, he doesn't, but the sound barrier was there anyway. But in they go. They push them away from the cart, but they manage to get back in time. Self-destruct picks up a kill. Every single one counts for Flash Wolves right now, and surely Fireball, this is just trying to keep the overtime alive, and Flash Wolves hold just before the 3rd checkpoint.
Which, short of going to time bank, has been a fairly good result from Fireball. You already said yourself, this was going to be a better performance than Blank on a tank. And you might just be correct there if Fireball could take it that far in. Blank unfortunately got held. Fireball played that first cat in a fairly opportunistic manner where they found the opening they needed, and they jumped, they executed, and they got the goal, they got the objective, and they kept pushing. They didn't get held up at second either. Again, they found the opening they needed. Now, when we got to the 3rd cap, with only 1 minute and 30 behind, I mean, they were going to go into overtime fairly quickly. That's when I believe they weren't going to have enough time anymore. They barely got the 2nd cap. It was highly unlikely for them to get the 3rd anyway, and Oputo says, roll on.
Roll on indeed, because now they have to defend, and well, what is their composition going to come out to be this time? NZNR very likely to be on a soldier, probably quite different to what Flash Wolves pulled out on defense, pretty much as like 100% dive, throwing a Genji in there as well. But you're right, it was when Fireball noticed the mistake that came out from Flash Wolves, punishing Bacon Jack and the rest of his team, pushing in to get the cap. Will Fireball make a similar mistake? if they're positioning NZNR up in the balcony, up in the window, then Flash Wolves are surely going to punish it. They're surely going to dedicate a lot of dive to take him out. And Fireball, they have to protect him.
We'll see what kind of defense is going to get mounted by Fireball here. Now, interesting to note is Flash Wolves did try something different. To, I guess, to Blank's favor, the Flash Wolves defense that they offered on the first cap was vastly different to what the Flash Wolves offered against Fireball as well. So, this is what?
They're standing on the other side of the wall, I believe. They were pretty far forward there. Anyway, yeah, there it is.
You're definitely going crazy. Wait, what?
They jumped out of the hotel. They were standing forward past the choke point there. Now, Flash Wolves, they're just going to punish them for that. Fireball, they were standing forward way too aggressively. Flash Wolves pick up way too many kills. And well, I don't see any way Flash Wolves don't pick up the cap here.
Yeah, this is a super quick cap through. The only solace that Fireball can get out of this is that there's no immediate spawn camping style follow-up. I mean, you don't see Fireball, you don't see Flash Wolves rather moving severely ahead to try and get any stragglers. There are no stragglers. They got the full team wipe. They got the full cap, and now they're going to get the push started. Fireball are going to be able to mount the defense at the bookstore, but for how long? Bacon Jack already lying in wait.
Yeah,
he's reading a book inside the bookstore while he waits for his team.
How to pulse bomb every single member of Fireball at once? Well, we'll see if
he's not reading an instructional book. He'll be reading something more like
the thesis on pulse bombs that he probably wrote.
That he wrote himself, exactly.
Well, Fireball, they do actually manage to get a defense.
He may need to revise that book because I think Fireball do come back and successfully defend.
Maybe like stop reading it in the middle of a fight, but ends it on with the double kill with his pulse bomb. A little bit of salt just to rub in the wound as they'd really already won that fight. It's just going to buy them a little bit of extra time. But hey, pulse bomb, if you're going to throw away any ult, I suppose that's an okay one.
No, you don't. I mean, no, you don't really want to throw away that ult because where that ult would be really useful now for NZNR is when Flash Wolves' next commit. Getting those 2 kills at the start of Flash Wolves' next push immediately gives Fireball a 6 versus 4 advantage that they can then use to actually win the team fight. So missing that ultimate now is going to definitely cost him. Bacon Jack responds in kind with Pulse Bomb of his own. 3 quick kills and only 1 response from Apudo.
But they find Bacon Jack.
Well, the second from Bacon Jack might just be useful enough, but I don't think Flash Wolves are going to give this away just yet.
Yeah, running triple DPS, they still have the Soldier as well, just to keep them afloat in that consistent damage. And Fireball, they took these early fights, so the payload still has a long way to go. Remember when Flash Wolves finally found a defense against Fireball on the second phase, the payload was already where it is now. So Flash Wolves, they've still got a little while to go. They're finally at this final corner here. Fireball are just hiding around this corner. They've got a Nano Boost. They've got a Dragon Blade. Genji's got to go big.
He's gone at least medium with the 2 kills there, and it is Fireball coming mostly on top, and I think it will be enough. Flash Wolves will be forced to move backwards. Jongi and Bacon Jack, the only survivors, have to regroup with the rest of the spawners inside the attacker's spawn area. Fudo just going to check it out anyway. Primal Rage being forced out. Actually, both teams decide to use it. This will be a very forward engage now for Fireball. And I don't know if this is correct because the rest of Fireball are kind of too far behind. And as you can see, Flash Wolves get a massive cleanup.
There's also a tactical visor being used by Fireball too, so just ultimates used, fight lost, and now the checkpoint has been taken by Flash Wolves. This is not a great situation at all for Fireball to be in. They used all of their resources in the last fight. They can take an early fight here for all they want, try and buy out ultimates, try and find anything they can, buy some time, but it's surely just going to be another fight loss, and they'll have to mount their final defense just before the end of the second corner.
Bacon Jack already behind enemy lines. Zonda gets himself a kill. And it's going to be fairly even trade so far. Can't really call the winner of this one until, well, now it's starting to look very much in the favor of Flash Wolves. Can't still completely stop though, so anything Flash Wolves are getting out of this, they need to be able to translate into direct cart movement.
Well, the cart started to move finally as Fireball, they had to back off. This cart is getting around to the final bend. This is essentially one more win for Flash Wolves. Bacon Jack with his pulse bomb. If he can find it, then they can surely find a win here. Both Winston's dropping down the Venn diagram of protection. And wow, there's the pulse bomb. He finds someone. That's 3 kills already for Flash Wolves. They're ready to go in. They've taken down Apudo. No damage left for Fireball except for NZNR. And surely he's going to fall as well. Then the payload is going to sail into the yellow rectangle.
Not before
yet.
Incident I can just touch it
There
for
it
a
is.
brief moment and just slap it with his hand and say one last touch before I say goodbye.
He wanted to say goodbye to the payload, the EMP that disables all the Omnics in King's Row.
Is that actually what it is?
That's what the payload is.
But I thought the uprising was over.
No, but this is just the racist. Like the guys you see in the Dorado cinematic, people like that. And they want to disable all of the Omnics, which is why it's kind of weird that...
Tell me it ain't so, because we just saw the Overwatch team disable the Omnics against the other Overwatch team. I'm not even sure how the lore kind of works into this, but yeah, that's the nice false bomb there. Like you said, kind of cute, but at the end of the day, ultimately, I don't think it helped them realistically, because those 2 additional kills ended up buying maybe a couple of seconds versus the effect it could have had if they had kept it and then used it in the next fight to allow them to win another fight, which is a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head right in the middle of the game. They just needed it
Right
for the
on
next
head,
fight.
Right on there. That was one of I was going to say few other mistakes. There's definitely a few other in there. Nothing like major to really point out. I think a couple of overextensions, a couple of aggressive chases by Apuda, particularly using the dash and putting himself in situations where it's like, well, you kind of needed that to get out. Definitely not the cleanest play from Fireball, but Fireball are a little bit desperate to try and get themselves a decent showing against Flash Wolves. I know, dare I even say, even try and get a win against Flash Wolves, and they look like they are trying to pull out all stops for this. So it's not very reserved play from Fireball, but it is very, I would say, committed play. Like they really want to get this win.
It's
If
looking
possible.
That King's Row looked a whole lot better than Ilios, though. You've got to say, right? I mean,
Absolutely. I think Ilios, if you consider Ilios to be mostly a shutout, translated to King's Row would be a full hold, and then you know, basically not a full hold. If that makes sense, you just get capped out. So, if we're comparing to Ilios, yeah, absolutely, that looked better.
yeah, I mean, actually making it that far, almost up to the 3rd checkpoint, where, let's get real, that's still a very hard part to break teams.
Oh, yeah.
You get it around to that final corner, and have to get the cleanest team fight win to actually get it all the way to the end. Flash Wolves, they're able to do that, and I feel like that's simply because they just, right now, outclass Fireball. They punish the mistakes a whole lot harder, especially some of these macro decisions, some of these small ones, like that pulse bomb just being thrown out at the end of a fight that you've already won. And what are you getting out of that? Like 12 seconds
More
respawn
win.
time.
You don't get 12 seconds. You get like a few seconds, because the last guy you killed before that, that's who Flash Wolves were originally going to wait to respawn for. Now you're going to make them wait for another 2 members who are going to respawn maybe 3 to 4 seconds after that. So realistically, you bought about 3 to 4 seconds with an ult. So not really worth it. But again, I don't want to dwell on small-ish kind of mistakes like that. It sounds like a small mistake, but realistically, if Fireball applied themselves properly, that could have been something that would turn around another fight. Just giving you small leg ups until you put it all together, and that's how you realistically get a win. Now for Flash Wolves, they can make a couple of missteps. They can make a couple of mistakes that I don't believe Fireball are ready to punish it. I don't believe Fireball have the capacity currently, from what we can see, to be able to punish Flash Wolves for that. That being said, Fireball still come in and they get a decent number of teamfight wins.
A decent showing, I've got to say. Like, it's more than we expected them to pull out against Flash Wolves. I mean, we actually just said, before this match even started, I'm kind of expecting a full hold, but they proved me wrong. I mean, they took the point pretty much as fast as they could, almost. After like 1 teamfight loss, they come back in, just win it out straight away. And
So neither of the first defenses from either team really impressed me. Particularly Fireball's one was a bit of a write-off. They tried to do something very outside the box, and it was so far outside the box, it was like they weren't in the box at all, with the box being
the point.
first cap defense. They just weren't in their box. It just wasn't here. So I won't speak too much of that. It was just something that was way too risky. When you look at what Flash Wolves did, though, they ran a very aggressive kind of defense as well. Not something that they ran against Blank. But we'll see now, as Flash Wolves are 2 up against Fireball. Can Fireball bring it back, or is it going to be an easy sweep? And we'll find out right after the break. And Welcome back to week 5, day 3 of the Overwatch Pacific Championship as we get ready for the third map of Flash Wolves versus Fireball. Currently, Fireball trailing 0-2 against the mighty Flash Wolves, who are looking so strong. I'm AVRL and Smite. What do we think so far? The next map has been revealed. It is Temple of Anubis.
Well, okay, 2-0 down Fireball. They were in this situation against Sun Sister and they came back with the reverse sweep.
Oh, surely
Oh,
then.
yeah, that's what maybe we're going to see a
We've
miracle.
seen everything we need to see here. This game's over.
We don't need to watch the next 3 games. We know what Fireball's going to pull out.
Oh boy.
Well, just kidding, because Fireball, they just played Temple of Anubis, and I think we went to triple time bank. And so that was still actually reasonably close to Sun Sister, where Sun Sister still double capped them. They just happened to do it in overtime. Sorry, double capped them. They got 4 points. And that
Super
happened.
cap.
Yeah, super cap. That was in overtime. So they didn't get a shot at going for the 5th cap.
Yeah.
Fireball, however, had about a minute. They managed to do it.
Minute 17.
A minute 17 to
My
cap
memory serves me
to
correct.
cap a third of the point. So
Yeah.
they managed to do that, and that's what got them the win. That was pretty tight against Sun Sister, the bottom team on the table. Now they're up against Flash Wolves, who
Absolutely. On the opposite side of the table, the far opposite side.
about as far as you can go right now. And if you take into recent performances, perhaps even above Blank right now.
Actually, it's funny because the literal opposite is Fireball is 3rd from the bottom and Flash Wolves is 3rd from the top. So this is the actual opposite sides of the table.
Yeah, well, I mean, last time we saw that, Marchi beat Flash Wolves. No, Marchi wouldn't be the actual opposite, would they? The 3rd last. being
Yeah,
6th
Flash
place,
Wolves
yep.
was 2nd, so yeah.
Yeah, okay, never mind that. But
Brush up on your history. Anyway.
brush up on the history, okay. But hey, look at this. Temple of Anubis, and we've got a Widowmaker already coming up for 9th. We've talked about how this composition works. You need to flush out the defenders, make sure they're in the
Easier said than done
sidelines.
against Flash Wolves, but you've got to try.
Got to get them into the sightlines for 9th. He's got to find those picks during the fight. But these really interesting parts, you see NZNR going up to try and get the defenders off this ground here. He's dropping health, but he does have that health back down there to help him out.
Yeah, got met there by Zelfix as well, just to push him on through. And look at this, Flash Wolves, where are they? They're not really anywhere near the cap, I believe, so far. They're all sort of just hiding in that top right area from 9th's position. So for Fireball, this is when you get the chokehold and you need to start...
Their cap?
You need to start controlling this space here. Zonda's going to go for the duel against 9th. A really good shot from 9th. This one means he's actually going to win. Headshots from the assault rifle.
And now he can go into a position completely uncontested. The only one that can get to him is K-Momo, but he's too busy on the point itself. Bacon Jack, though, does find a kill onto his partner, NZNR. So now it's even trades, but the respawns are much closer for Fireball. They can bring him back in just in time. He has a Tracer. He can blink there. He's also got Pulse Bomb. And any second that Flash will stand out of position is going to be a headshot coming out of 9th. They have to be so careful in how they play this defense.
And unfortunately, the team that's being super careful is Fireball. They're being far too careful. They just got to kill onto Zonda. Zonda's already respawned. He'll be joining his team very shortly, if not already. This needs to be Fireball able to get in there, and now they got another kill. So finally, Abuda with the Dragon Blade, he will enter into the fight. Jongi goes down, looking for number 2 onto Real Mint, but Zonda is getting the trades. So no matter what Fireball are doing, they're not able to get ahead in this situation.
If they had just won that duel there, then Fireball might have had the numbers with the respawns to get in here and actually take the point. Those 2 kills are actually pretty important. They need to find the little baby diva. They do find it, but Bacon Jack has returned. He's picking up kills onto the Lucio. He's going to find NZNR, but he's been surrounded, and Fireball, they're standing on the point. These are going to be some last-ditch defenses coming out from Flash Wolves. The respawns have come out for them.
And respawns for Flash Wolves as well. Here comes a Primal Rage with the nano boost as well, and a sleep dart. Oh, okay, got woken up. I don't know what happened there. I think usually you want to keep a monkey sleeping, keep him snoozing, and unfortunately, it does mean Kurlos falls over. And the frontline force for Fireball as well, not faring any better than their back line. And this is going to be a full reset. Fireball going to have to push again.
If anything, Fireball, they did buy out a few ultimates. There was a nano boost in there, even a Dragon Blade for Zonda. They're throwing in some swaps. 9th back over onto that Soldier. A lot more conventional. They're going to have to try and entrench 9th up onto the high ground. They need to move as a unit. Take this high ground up over on the right-hand side if you're looking from the attacker's spawn. Right here, right where Zonda is standing. That's where Fireball need to get 9th.
Zonda's going to collect himself a couple of dinks on the side as well. He'll need a couple of more if he wants to get the Dragon Blade in time. 55 seconds left to go. Fireball, potentially only 2 pushes left if they're quick, 1 push left if they're slow, and if Bacon Jack can get a kill here, then it's going to spell a lot of trouble. I don't know how Zonda is consistently dying at the start of these fights. At least Bacon Jack is always there to pick up the pieces, even trade still. As the sleep goes into Bacon Jack, and a big kill from Zelfix means Fireball opportunity time once again. They failed it last time, and this time they got a lot more important picks up. They just got to get rid of K-Momo, and then it should be cap time.
It was the DPS that they did take down, so they're fairly safe at staying alive at this point, as long as they don't stand next to that self-destruct, that is. But in any case, Flash Wolves, they'll eventually get back to this point. So Fireball, they need to get value out of this Nano Blade. This is a lot of momentum that they're spending, but that's just into a Primal Raging Winston, who gets a kill anyway.
Yeah, into a Primal Raging Winston where technically that's 1 ultimate against 2 ultimates. You nanoed and Dragon Bladed. You didn't collect enough kills. You didn't collect enough cap either. And unfortunately for Fireball, this looks like a 0% attack.
0%. Well, this could be an easy shutout here for Flash Wolves. They're already 2-0 up. 1/3 of the point is all they require to get probably the easiest series they've had this weekend.
Absolutely, I think for Fireball as well, they had moments. I think they had absolute times where I expected, hey, this is going to be the win. This is going to be the cap, but not the full win, but this is going to be the cap out. The moment for Fireball. This is when you finish channeling the spell and you unleash it into your opponent's face for 6 damage. But not going to be the case, because every time they got Zonda early, Bacon Jack, he got a response, and then they got Bacon Jack anyway. Where was the full?
Where was the push?
I mean, they got but that is the push. They got the push. I'm always thinking about where was the completion of the push. They didn't clean up the remaining members. K-Momo just stayed alive long enough for Zonda and Bacon Jack to come back alive. So the 2 biggest targets on Flash Wolves that you needed to pick out, you got them first. It's not an easy thing to do. You got them first, and then it was the tanks at the end that you just didn't have enough damage to get past, even though your DPSs were there.
Can you imagine, though, if Apudo had held that Nano Blade combo, and instead of going for Winston, panicking almost, like, we need to get this Winston down before the reinforcements come and save the point? Imagine if he had it just for those squishy members that he can just 1-2 hit with the Nano Blade. That would have taken them out, and they wouldn't have had to worry about the Winston. So
I think the communication needs to kind of be save the Dragon Blade until you've got an opportune moment, and then say, hey, can I have the nano boost now, because this is going to be really sick.
It's going to be really sick. You're not even going to believe it.
You can kind of cut out the last bit there with the really sick, but essentially the message is there. There needs to be better moments for Apudo to actually look at and say, this is where I'm going to be very useful. And a Nano Blade against the Primal Rage in Winston, sure, Jongi used the Primal Rage afterwards, but the fact that Apudo stayed on him, I don't know. Jongi did an incredibly good job there.
AVRL, what are we seeing here? We've got a Reaper, we've got a Widowmaker, we've got a Mercy, and there's no Pharah. What is going on? You've got to talk me through this one.
I don't see the problem with this. The only thing that's different here is Bacon Jack isn't playing Tracer, so it is a... Okay, yeah, that's exactly what... that's a good size. So again, Zonda getting picked out... No, it was actually K-Momo getting picked out, so I'm wrong. Zonda didn't get picked out because Zonda is playing Winston now. It's different. That's different. This is some XQQ level of change-ups that I'm not too familiar with, but Flash Wolves, they only need 1/3. I think they're trying to have a bit of fun here, but you're in a serious tournament, guys. No fun allowed.
Trying to brawl themselves up through the pathway on the left, and then they can just simply jump onto the point and literally yell, come at me, bro, to try and contest, because Fireball cannot leave the point. They cannot give up 1/3 of the point, and here they go, Flash Wolves. They're moving forward. They just need to get a little bit further. Pick up 1 kill here and there. Bacon Jack can absolutely get that as Reaper. You pick up 1 kill, you just start snowballing by getting that health back from the Soul Globe. So
I'll tell you what, the last time Flash Wolves didn't take Fireball seriously, Fireball nearly won Ilios in a 99-99 overtime, and this may be the same case repeating itself again. It may just be, or it may be Fireball unable to conserve themselves, unable to just keep themselves well in a situation where they can actually come back, and it's starting to not work out for Fireball at all.
No. Well, Fireball committed a Nano Blade combo to that, and Apudo is just shut down immediately. Death Blossom just to clean up on the point. And well, shutting down the Nano Blade was the very start of the end for Fireball in this series.
as one-sided as that was, and as difficult that is to really analyze that properly, what I can say is, if Apuda is going to go with the Dragon Blade like that with the Nano Boost, he's got a Diva and a Winston on his team. Where were they? Because your tanks, if they had led in, and then you followed up with the Dragon Blade, that's when you can actually successfully get a lot of damage, get a lot of kills, and that's a team fight. That's exactly what you want. But Apuda going in by himself, I don't think that was ever going to work out in his favor.
Well, I mean, that was nice. Taking out the Widowmaker as well.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, not a huge amount to say about Temple of Anubis, to be honest. Fireball kind of slumped on the offense. I mean, they had opportunities.
They were so close.
They were close, but then they were also not close because they had 0% on the point. I mean,
that speaks more to Flashwall's ability to deny the cap, though, I think.
Yeah.
But,
it's the results that ended up giving Flash Wolves the chance to just, I mean, like you said, have a little bit of fun, just run onto the point and cap it with 1/3 to go. I mean, that's all they really needed.
I mean, let's even look at that situation, because that's not a winning composition for Flash Wolves whatsoever. It won because Fireball, they misplayed. They got flustered again. This is the thing for Fireball. They didn't understand, like, look at the composition, what's going on. Again, as much of a troll composition as that was for Flash Wolves, if you wanted to win that as Fireball, you can still engage that, because two things are going to happen in that Flash Wolves composition. One is they've got a Widowmaker, so they're going to sit there waiting for picks. Two is they have a really hard brawl composition with the Reaper, and they want to fight you up close. So it's almost like baiting. They want you to come for the Widow, because when you come for the Widow, the Reaper's going to smack you in the face, which is exactly what Blake and Jack did to Apuda when he came in. It was like, the invitation was laid out, you went there, and it was a total trap. So realistically, for Fireball, if they wanted to play against that composition, they could have waited for Flash Wolves to kind of contest the point, because as the defenders, you don't really need initiative in that sort of space, particularly not against a composition that's built for brawling. The attackers need a cap at some point, and if they're going to stand there and not cap, cool, let the timer go down. That works in your favor. When they do actually go to cap, that's when you can go and attack them. And you want to take down the Widow, you can now, because he's not being protected by 5 other members. And when you finally make the dive, you're not a solo Genji diving. Like I said, you got a Winston, you got a Diva. Use your teammates, use your tanks, use your effective health pool. You can't be one guy.
And I feel like I've got to say, like, fighting on the point would have been what Fireball would have wanted to do. The nice open space. If Widowmaker's somewhere else, then the rest of the team is on the point. You can go diver. Then, if that's really the big problem, and there's other big brawl composition, you've got tanks, you've got a nano boosted Genji as well. You can definitely contest the team if they're just out in this nice open space on the actual point itself. You've got plenty of space to work around as a dive composition.
And now let's check out the updated scoreboard after the conclusion of Fireball versus Flash Wolves. Fireball set at 5-7, so their chances of catching up to Machi are just a little bit more slim. As Flash Wolves now climb their way up, equal wins with AHQ, but one additional loss, and that one additional loss will still be hurting them. It's coming from Machi, who we will be seeing next against AHQ, and if Machi win, they're going to be climbing up to 7 wins as well. I think that equals Hong Kong Attitude. But for AHQ Esports, they're going to be equaling, I believe, Blank's wins should they win this one. So it is still a fairly important game. It's a more important game for Machi than it is for AHQ, because, again, for Machi, this is a team steadily on the rise, currently sitting at number 5, although you would probably rate them as the number 4 team in the competition. And they need to have a really good showing against AHQ if they want to fight for that top 3 position.
If Machi can beat AHQ here, it shows that they're just improving at a rapid rate as well, and they really are contesting for not just top 4, but really banging on the doors of the top 3, and maybe even one day hoping to meet Blank themselves. Now, also, if they don't pull out the win here, then they just get consistent results to what they've got throughout the first week, through the second round, where, you know, okay, they upset Flash Wolves, they pulled off some good wins, but if they just continue to get those results, then they're just going to sit at 4th forever. They're not going to make it up.
4th ever, and it's, in this competition, not exactly where you want to be. It's not the worst place to be, but you want to be 3 and up. You want to be 1st, 2nd, or 3rd to make that playoffs, to be where the champions lie. And so far, That door is really closed and membership is really difficult to get. Entry is just unreal. So for Machi, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough battle. And think for Fireball, they're going to go back to the drawing board a little bit for this one. And Fireball, again, their goal right now is just to beat Hong Kong Attitude to start with, beat Machi again to start with. And that's going to be what's going to be really important for them. As we get ready now for the winners interview with Flash Wolves.
那我们请到的是闪电狼的 Jongy。
This one's going to be Jongy, the main tank.
Overwatch 战队的中继。
好，不要紧张，不要紧张，你一紧张我比你更紧张。好，那我想要请问一下，就是上周是2连败嘛，对不对？那本周竟然给我4连胜，
哦，
是不是超厉害？好，那昨天呢还打赢了战绩第1的 Blank，哇，真的超厉害。那大家都把焦点放在了输出跟坦。那从上周的低潮到现在的高潮，那是做了哪些的准备呢？跟我们分享。
What did you change between your loss streak last week and now?
M17跟 Blank Esports 的时候，心情是大家都很低落，然后沟通上也是出了很多问题。然后那2天放假，我们都回去调试了一下心情。然后下礼拜我们又去多沟通一些新的东西，然后让我们队伍之间的共识越来越好，就是不要再有。
The loss against Machi was really difficult. We kind of went away the week afterwards to reassess ourselves and look at where we can improve.
以沟通为主。
对。
好，那第2个问题就比较轻松啦，放轻松，放轻松。第2个问题就是说，听说你不太喜欢洗澡，这是真的吗
？The question is, I heard you don't like to shower.
的次数本来就没有那么多嘛，那难免会很紧张。然后我这个人又比较内向一点，所以会找一些地方抓。其实不是不爱洗澡，就是太紧张了。
其实他真的有洗澡啦，我闻一下。 没有味道，没有味道，
You
香
smell
的
them,
香
so I'll
的。
just check.
那第
Now
3
he said it's pretty straightforward. We don't really have a lot of time, so.
比较是喜欢用积极性呢，还是比较喜欢用防守？那为什么呢？
其实这个是看现在队伍的走向以及现在 meta 的变动，因为星星要打启动是要有队友的配合，然后你要打保守的话，也是要搭配一些射手去帮你做前排的压制，那你就不会打那么像激进你就很容易像送头，然后防守就是在送血这样。
The question is, how do you pick between your 2 tanks? Now he says the current meta really favors Winston,
那最后一个问题
particularly the
是想要
compositions
请
we
你
want
分
to
享
run.
一下星星开大的时机。
星星开大的时机就是安娜撒到断补的时候呢，血量不会直接增加到1000血。那主要就是说，你开大的时候千万不要送对面太多血，因为你开大的时候一样也是有1000血量，所以你飞过去的时候很有可能被打到残血，然后送对面一堆能量这样。
So he says when you choose to play more range, you need to make sure that you're not just feeding 1000 HP worth of ult, which is something I think you've covered for as well. Smite. There's going to be a couch interview as well. I don't know who that is. It's going to be with Flash Wolves again. It's going to be Sinclair and Realment.
你们2个先跟大家自我介绍跟问好。
大家好，我是闪电狼的 Realment 31。
大家好，我是闪电狼的新客。
Got Sinclair on the left and Realment on the right.
想要问你们，就是从上个礼拜，其实你们对上 M17，还有包含对上 HQ 的时候，那一场我感觉就是你们有一点点稍微有点低潮，因为是2连败。但是到本周情况之下，在昨天，特别是打澳洲队，而且是一个3-0，基本上是一个短1个礼拜的时间，你们做了多少准备？怎么可以从上个礼拜这样的一个状况？
So you made massive improvements from last week to this week. How did you improve so quick?
其实准备的东西是一样多的，主要还是因为我们打 M7的那一周，我们的状态真的很差，对。因为那一周刚好新 meta 出现，然后我们跟韩国一些队伍练的时候的状态都很不好，导致我们的信心有点崩溃。
We were practicing the new meta against Korean teams, and we really struggled to adapt to the changes last week.
一天到底是怎么安排的？你们会怎么去做时间的切割？比如说。 大家会有比较多的一个想象，就是反正我坐到电脑前面一直打就会变强啊，真的是这样子吗？还是你们有战术上面的讨论，或者是可以跟大家分享一下吗？
How do you prepare? How do you, in terms of your improvement, what do you actually do?
到公司的时候会花一点时间把昨天的 BOD 团练的个人视角。
He says we check VODs in the morning.
看一下哪里有问题。 然后我们团练完之后也会留2个小时的时间来检讨团练的内
Then
容。
after scrims, we check
那
VODs
这边
again
我
for
想
2
要问
hours.
新科一个问题，因为过去你在 Stay Force 里，包含现在的闪电狼，你都是担任安娜位。那你觉得现在在这个位置 OPC 联赛里面有没有哪一个使用安娜是跟你差不多的，或者你甚至觉得他就是你的对手？
Kiyomi 吧，
Who do you rate as
哇，这个是
a really good Ana player in the competition?
还不错，
And Sinclair says Kiyomi is an exceptionally good Ana
还
player.
不错
如果两个硬要挑一个呢？
，Kiyomi 吧，
对，那我想问一下，就是包含我们常常会在看一些使用安奈的一个状况，就是他边补边要射击，然后边要帮自己的一个队友治疗。你平常是怎么去做这样的一个训练？你会让队友可能在前面，然后帮助你练习。
How do you train Ana?
背跟这个闪光就跑来跑去，然后你就一直想办法去射他。
我是练睡眠标啊，
睡眠标。
对。
哦，就是，但是你会跟自己的队友去练习吗？
会，
就想办法提高自己的一个
准度，对，
哇，这个 Thinker 的那个话有点精简了，害我有点。
He says something about practicing his aim specifically so he can make sure he can heal his teammates. And I think he does it with his teammates as well.
因为目前的一个状况，其实你们是排在第3名的一个位置。那接下来其实这场比赛它是一个长赛季，针对澳洲队目前的一个状况，你们自己有没有什么样的一个看法？就是他们的一个 meta， 其实从原本的一个刺客阵，然后换成131，但对你们打起来的情况之下不是那么好的一个状况，在下一场比赛，你对他们会不会有什么准备呢？比如说，可能他们会不会回到一些标准阵，或者是针对他们回到原本的一个131的一个阵型？
How do you specifically prepare for blank?
一定会的啊，而且主要是因为现在 meta 变动其实很快，就是你可能上一周是这个 meta， 那下一周就会马上变成另外一个 meta， 所以就是还是要以当下 meta 为主。
He says the meta changes really quickly. 3 weeks could be one meta, then the other 3 weeks could be a new meta. You have to adapt quite quickly.
那问另外一个问题，就是你们其实 Ben 跟 Jack 的一个闪光，目前受到很大的一个关注。你们觉得现在的一个状况，就是在整个联赛当中，有没有跟他差不多的一个闪光？
澳洲队的蛮强的。
So Bacon Jack's one of the best tracers in the competition. Who else do you think is one of the best?
两个闪光比较。
Sinclair says I eat you up as the other
当
one.
我们从赛品的角度看，我们都觉得 Ben 跟 Jack 其实在昨天一个表现非常不错，但同一个时间应该是我们没有看到角度，可能因为大家都集中在输出手身上。另外从你们的角度，是不是比如说包含重击的坦，或者K-Momo 的一个低法也做了很多事情，才可以让 Ben 跟 Jack 有比较好的一个发挥？
其实我们现在的战术体系就是完全不管培根，让他自己去打，然后我们5个人打一个小组。
So how do you support Bacon Jack? Do you use your tanks Zhongyi and K-Momo? The answer is we just let Bacon Jack do his own thing. We don't really look out for what he's doing in particular.
就是不关他的事情啊，他想打谁，他想打谁就打谁。
He literally says Bacon Jack will go for who he wants and we'll trust him.
他也知道他当下应该去打谁。
那等于就是说，他基本上就是透过你们情报，你们给情报，然后他去做事情，就比较不会是他跟你们讲说要做什么事情。
对。
好，这边谢谢2位接受我们的一个访问啊。那么也希望你们在未来的比赛能够继续加油。我们这边要请观众朋友先进一段广告。
All right, cool. So that's the end of that interview and thoughts from both Sinclair and Realments. A little bit of insight on how their team kind of operates. And that is really interesting. Specifically, a lot of the questions, I did watch the interview from yesterday as well. Specifically, a lot of the questions have been the change-ups from last week to this week. And I think they definitely took their loss last week to heart. And they came back really strong this week looking forward.
I'm really happy with their results as well. I mean, they're just looking so strong right now, stronger even than the almighty blank Esports. Flash Wolves seem to be the top dogs right now.
We'll see what if one of the other top dogs can keep their position as well. It's going to be Munchie Esports versus AHQ Esports, who are currently sitting at number 2. And we'll find out the result of that. In fact, we'll see how these two teams perform against each other when we come back from the break.